So I got something just real groovy to start.
All right.
And then we're going to listen to 2 short little videos about why T-Pain's the man.
Man, like, I wasn't on board with T-Pain until I saw that live performance, and I was like, oh my God, I have been missing out.
Yeah. You've been missing out. And what's wild, too, is he's been streaming lately.
Nice.
He's just been, like, on this wave. And I love it. I love seeing it. Like, it looks like he's just like, it looks like he's winning and it looks like he's just loving it. Like, and not in a bad way. It's kind of like we were talking about like Ludacris that one time.
Yeah.
It's just like, he looks so comfy and it's like, he's doing it on his own terms. He's indie now. Like, it's fabulous.
Well, he's already
man.
T-Pain.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And the thing is like, he's great. It's not a gimmick. Like, he's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I mean, obviously the auto-tune thing was kind of popping for a minute, but like,
he set that off though. It's still popping.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't realize, I guess, that there was just such greatness underneath that auto-tune. I assumed, because like you can do the auto-tune thing where you play it, right? So I kind of assumed that there was not greatness underneath that, but there is greatness underneath that.
Oh yeah. All right. Speaking of greatness, check this out. Sorry.
Practiced on the bass to the metronome, just like we did in the bebop jazz on the time, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Genius.
And you could be close, but unless this feels
now
like
I can't unhear the metronome.
practiced.
When I first heard it, all I could hear was like the regular
Just
timing.
like we did in the
I don't know how to Instagram. But then once she played it in the upbeat, I couldn't unhear it in the upbeat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'd never ever in my like wildest life, in my wildest dreams would I ever have thought of using a metronome as the upbeat.
I mean, that's way cooler.
It's way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting about that? Because there's no like a firm downbeat, you kind of have the freedom to be a little bit loose with it.
Well, that's the like
It's like feel coming into it now.
like the straight is the offbeats, right? And
Yeah.
then like your relationship to them is the thing that's going to give the groove.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like you could do bow ding ding bow do ba
You can kind of
you can
drag
kind of
it
play
and-
in behind. Yeah, exactly. So you got a lot more freedom, but it still feels locked because
Yeah.
that lock is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super interesting though.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
have
man.
never thought about doing that. All right, I got a few. Let's just play one video why T-Pain's the man.
Already that I won Massing, and I had the album ready to go. So I was saying, why don't we buy the ad space right after Mass Singer goes off to say T-Pain won Mass Singer, and also his album drops tonight. Long story short, next show comes on. No T-Pain album. Call my label. Hey, what happened? Oh yeah, meant to tell you. We didn't do the thing. You meant to tell me? That fumble was like, okay, cool. Understand if it was a mistake or y'all misstepped or anything like that. But here's the thing. I no longer have interest in being on this label or part of this management. They said, you leave us right now, you're going to be broke in a year. I made up in my mind, I'm going to get on my fucking business. I'm going to get on my shit. I'm going to do everything I fucking can to make sure my business goes right. That was the day that I was like, you know what? I got to get on my shit. On my shit.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. He's that guy.
Yeah.
And also, I think you and him would be best friends.
Yeah, probably.
The way he's like, oh, they didn't do the thing.
Yep. Well, it's so logical. Like, hey, you just had one job.
Yeah.
Like, do the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do the thing.
And
Cool. I'm going to go do the thing.
And that thing, like, that's, you know, like that's like a graspable version of like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It doesn't have the same reach, but it's the same kind of idea.
Well, and it's a one of one.
Yeah.
Like, he just described a situation that will never happen again.
Yeah.
Where you win something, it gets announced, and then you have the opportunity to capitalize on it right after.
Right
That
after.
situation will never happen again.
Yeah. And not to mention, because I've seen other videos of him talking about people discrediting him because of horrible reasons, but like if you won the attention of people because it's the Masked Singer, and now you have this new audience that's going to check out all your shit, like what a fumble, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, shout out to T-Pain, man.
Like,
congratulations. Come on now.
I mean, he made the right decision.
I don't know how long ago he went, like this could be old news, y'all, But whatever this wave is that T-Pain's been on lately, I'm here for it.
Well, it's gonna I'm sure he's been doing it for a minute now, because like you gain inertia with those things too, right?
Yeah.
Because if that happened and he was like, okay, I'm gonna get on this, then he's just gonna keep escalating in it.
Yeah.
Because, well, like, that's an interesting predicament that they put, because obviously the level that he cares and the level that people were working for him cared were incongruent. Mm-hmm. He has more care for what he creates than the people that were surrounding him. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's necessarily impossible to have a label that cares as much as you do, or more potentially.
Oh, I'm like, there's so many horror stories out there, and I don't mean to keep picking on labels, but I don't imagine that someone's sitting across from an artist going, "This is gonna get me rich." Like, it's that classic.
I completely think that happens.
You think so?
100%.
That's got to be a part of it. That's the commission check thing. But like in there, like what got them into the business? It's got to be a passion.
Does it?
It's sure. Why not?
Does it?
It should be, to stick something out that long, and like to go through all that headache and heartache.
Man, I think a lot of people don't look at jobs the same way as what you're describing. Because like, think about the things that are attached to that job. Ego. That immediately dictates to a lot of people that like aren't necessarily in for things with passion, because passion usually comes along from like emotions or ideals.
Okay.
So like if ego is the thing that's driving you in there, if it has some sort of title to it, well, then you have people that are going to be in the business for that title. So that immediately means that not everybody in there is going to be through passion.
Like, I want to be an A&R rep. I want to be the dude that does this.
I want to be in music. I want to know the people. I want to go to the parties. I want to get
like
the
more
chicks.
a
I want to
celebrity
have
thing.
the money. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the ego part of it is, right? Because
Okay.
it's not a creative thing. You're not getting into A&R necessarily for the creativity part, right? Like you're going to be alongside
that's what I
creators.
think you would want. Because like, why else would you go into that? Like, if I saw the money in computer science, I'm not going to go into computer science.
If you were good at computer science? Because like, what happens if he's just good at doing the thing?
Well, I'm good at being a salesperson. I can do it anywhere, but I'm going to go somewhere where, like, especially if I'm going to try to like do good at it, you have to have a level of passion. You have to sell me on the thing.
I'm just saying it's not necessarily passion around the art and the artist.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Like being good
more
at
of the
something doesn't
transaction.
necessarily mean that you're in love with the people that you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are lawyers out there that are dope at being lawyers and they don't like any of the people that they have to represent.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Like it's just when you're going to progress in an industry that you happen to have a talent in, doesn't necessarily mean that you have a talent in the ancillary stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
The things that make that up, right?
That's fair.
And especially for people that are going to climb ranks of, like, I think you have to be good at it. I don't think you necessarily have to be the person.
Well, like, the music industry is based on the fact that artists for a long time were not managers.
Yeah.
That's
and they
it.
knew nothing about
that's
it.
Straight up, that's it, right? And like you look at people who can lock that down, like the business side and the artistry side, man, and that is like a hell of a contender to compete with, right?
Well, it's you've eliminated all this realm of a business that used to be to service the needs of people who couldn't do it themselves. The middleman idea, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of the idea of like I was just talking about it with my folks. Like, you could technically say you owned a house outright. You could technically sell it to somebody and take payments from them.
Yeah.
Because you're assuming the risk,
Yeah.
right? It's like, hey, you owe me this. You're going to pay it off over this amount, and I want this much on top of whatever it is, and these are the terms, and blah, 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 blah. You could do the bank thing, but that's crazy risk for an individual.
Yeah.
But the people that can do it themselves can make themselves into those types of things. Like you become landlords or like whatever the thing is.
Small loans or anything.
Yeah.
I know
There's
people that
things
do
in the
all that
way
shit.
of that to make it legal. But like, it's just one of those things that like a lot of the things that used to be not within the realm of individuals is now becoming under the realm of the individual that's also doing the other thing.
I gotcha.
And then people that do that well, they don't need the other thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Unless the other thing's going to do something that they can't do.
I'm just running, and I haven't even seen the whole movie, but I'm just running that, what was that penny stock movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. That's all I'm imagining. Like people that is good at the thing, see an opportunity to get into the.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to sour it. I'm not trying to say that's all of them. I've met a lot of people in the industry that are exactly the way you would hope they would be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They care about music. They're passionate about it. That's what they live and breathe. And they care more about the passion creative side than you would think. I'm just saying that there is also the other.
I
right?
got you. I
And
follow.
I think the idea being like you want to try and find all the people that are in that realm, if possible.
If possible, yeah.
You know what I mean? Try and avoid the people that are just in it for the ego or the buck or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody shouldn't make a living, but like you're right. There's going to be hard days where dollars don't make sense to you.
Yeah.
So you have to have something else there that's going to be
To keep you in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, and this is a topic we're going to have in a future thing because I got to learn more about it. But I saw that they're trying to pass a bill that bumps streaming payments up to a penny a stream.
Whoa, hang on. That's a ton.
I know, like at first glance, that sounds horrendous. You
That's
start thinking
that's a
about these
ton of
millions of
money.
streams, like it becomes thousands of dollars really quick. But that makes music
dude.
affordable, or like being a musician livable again, right?
Oh, that's more than livable.
Oh yeah.
That's insane.
But
money.
like, okay, sorry, livable isn't the word that I'm trying to think of. Like, okay, like what I imagine Chris Brown should be making off his streams is what he's going to be making off his streams, if that makes sense.
oh, that's tough. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a nice little uptick for them artists. And it's crazy to think that a penny a stream. But
It's not though.
see, and again, I don't want to dive too far into this because I don't know enough about it. I don't even know if it's like a real thing that's like I just saw a post about it and I wanted to read about it. But another thing that I saw was the penny the stream. Lost it. That's okay. We'll come back to it. I'm gonna learn more about that and I'll have it as like an actual.
Man, that'd
like,
be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, again, if it's a penny a stream, you and I are just going to do music.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, we could do enough content, enough music that we could make a living wage, no problem.
So can I just like flex for a second here?
Go for it.
There's all these trends that keep happening like in YouTube. And I'm not saying that I'm like the perfect YouTuber either, because I meant like lots of things get in the way of that. And I'm learning. But there's lots of trends that I keep learning about that just keep affirming the things that I do on my channel. And one of them is that I've been saying this for 2 years. We need to do music. We need to do music. Like we need to do music. And like here we are. But anyways, I'm gonna learn more about that. Don't take that for like 100% truth yet.
Man, if that's a thing, that's crazy.
I remember my other point. There was a label again, and I wrote it down, and I want to learn more about it. But there was another label that like they were saying like, hey, if you want to sign with us, you keep this much percentage of all your stuff. Like we will help fund you, and we will take this much back in ownership of that. But the majority is in your guys' hands. And I just went, that's the way to do it. Like work with the artist right now.
I mean, I think that's the natural course.
Yeah.
Because like the barriers to entry are not big enough anymore to warrant labels taking what they do.
Oh yeah.
The problem is though, then they can't afford to pay their people unless they can figure out a way of making the artist an exorbitant amount of money.
Well, think about this. Like, so say if I have the money to start the record label, or let's say I'm like, I don't have big bucks like Sony, but I've got like enough to put on a couple like labels, maybe do a couple deals with, or sorry, put on a couple artists, make a couple deals with some studios, this and that, right? And now I just go and take that same idea and I approach like painter artists or like drawing artists or like digital design artists and start saying, hey, I'm going to farm you 150 clients a month, and you like whichever ones pick you or whichever ones like your portfolio you get to work with, you make a cut of X, Y, and Z, right? And you work it into that cost that everyone's sharing. And now it's like this big, it's almost like a skill share.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Like,
See, work with the artist is what I'm saying, right?
no, I completely agree. And like, that's why, like, when I was talking about the Skillshare thing, like, I get the concept of Skillshare, but you're just paying for Skillshare. You're not paying for an individual. Whereas I think like the idea of like even YouTube is advertising to subscribe to your creator, to like pay your creator, like whoever you're being, like you subscribe, or I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
they have memberships now.
Yeah.
And you get like it'll highlight your name in the comments. It'll notify me when you comment, so I can comment back like more regularly.
Well, and like to me that adds what I think made the concept of OnlyFans successful, because like the connectivity of one person to the person that they are wanting to engage with or support, to me that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because like I personally think like that would be A, more valuable to the person that's doing the thing, but B, be a healthier relationship of profit share too. Because like if you're doing stuff and I'm enabling someone to support you and I take a little cut of that, that's fine, but it should be a little cut. You know what I mean? Because lots of little cuts is great.
Yeah.
OnlyFans isn't hurting.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, no, give the bulk of like the lion's share to the person that's doing the work, and I'm going to be the middleman facilitator. I think that makes sense.
Well, like, OnlyFans is an example. Patreon only takes 8%. Buy Me a Coffee only takes 6%, I want to say. And like everyone has their own little structure, but they're putting the weight in the creator. They're letting me take
so much sense.
The major majority of it, and they don't charge me anything to take it out. Like the Buy Me a Coffee one's really cool because like just about every work day of a month, I get like $350 deposited in my account.
Oh, no way.
So and what I want to start doing is like, I'm at the coffee shop and like, these are just my thoughts real quick and just kind of post it there and just like for fun. Right.
That's cool.
But it accumulates. So someone will buy 8 coffees and that's like 8 weeks or 8 months, however you have it set up for. And then it builds up and it pays you out per like payment routine or whatever. So yeah, you basically get like a coffee a day is how it works. So
man, that's really cool.
Yeah, it is really neat.
Yeah.
But then like
that.
Like how cool is that for someone at home to like you're going to spend the $350 on something in entertainment and you get to know that someone that you admire, someone that you like, or you've gotten entertainment from, or maybe a safe space from, like you got to buy them a coffee. I would love to do that to all my creator friends in real life.
I would love that. If
In
you're
real
standing
life.
in a coffee shop and they're behind you and just like, hey, can I buy that guy's coffee?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I would love that.
Like imagine running into like Nick, like that singer reactions in the coffee
100%.
shop. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We've been
yeah.
watching his videos like way longer than I've had this channel. So yeah.
You're
Like,
not wrong.
it would be hilarious. It'd be so much fun.
That would be great.
But you can't do that because it's such a big world now.
Well, I mean, you can do it in ways.
Well, you can buy us a coffee online. Links are in the description box. What's up, Spotify? We got them there too.
Yeah, fair.
Man, let's start this episode. Welcome to episode 31. I'm Jess. This is Kevin.
This isn't 32?
No, I think Jordan was 30. Oh, this is 32. We're a week behind. See, guys,
One of these days we'll get it right.
I start planning things ahead and I get ahead of myself and I can't sort it out. That's part of I was talking about.
Oh, right. I remember.
YouTube doing good and then anyway. All right. So we've talked about a couple of things that I think are touchy appointments. We've talked about lawyers. We've talked about banks. We've talked about people you owe money to. What's your least favorite appointment to make?
Dentist.
I was going to say, and why is it the dentist? Yeah.
It's the dentist. It's absolutely the dentist.
I hate the dentist, bro.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding it.
Yeah, I think it's really like, I don't know about this, and this is just us two sitting here saying this, but like guys avoid the dentist.
Probably.
Like when I talked to my dentist the last time, she was like super nice. It was a new dentist because my guy retired or whatever, and she was very like kind because she basically said like, hey, I looked through your dental history and I just seeing what you've had to go through, because like when I was a teenager I had a bunch of orthodontic work. She's like, you probably hate it here. And I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is a place of trauma for me. So it was nice to at least that they get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like back, like they didn't get it previously. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Buddy.
We'll just let him out.
Okay. We'll go say hi.
Hot and stuffy in here.
Good luck. Can you get attacked by
Don't
a cat?
die. Yeah.
It'll happen. Yeah, it's definitely the dentist.
So the dentist was on your side.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was nice to hear, but it still didn't change the fact that I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I've dated more dental hygienists than I've dated any other grouping of. Like if you take all the people I've dated, more than half of them have been dental hygienists.
Why?
Or assistants. It just happens that way. Actually, what's funny is...
Are you meeting these people at your dentist's office?
No,
or?
not at all. But 2 of them have worked at the same office. And I
Weird.
did, like, at different times, though.
Yeah.
And one of the staff that had been there, like, over the whole time, he was like, are you, like, on a newsletter or something?
Is there some sort of app I don't know about?
Yeah. But you know what's hilarious is they never tell you that they're into teeth until, like, things are, like, locked down, right?
Wait. Hang on. Into teeth?
Well, like they work in teeth.
Oh, they work in teeth.
Yeah,
I
don't know if they
their
have a
vibe?
tooth thing. I've
I've never heard of that.
Because the problem is like it's date number 1. You go out for a drink, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna be judging your teeth all night.
Oh yeah, I would hate that.
There's no chance.
Although, like, my teeth are what they are.
Yeah, I've come
They're
to accept
there.
that too. See, because like I have this diastema in my teeth, but like all the
what's
men,
that mean?
it's a little gap right here. Just a little
I
tiny
barely
gap.
noticed. That's like nothing.
It's gotten better over the years. But every male on my dad's side of the family has it in varying degrees of separation, we'll call it.
Depending on how French they are.
Exactly. But yeah, the dentist was like, yeah, you could have all these elastics and braces and all the shit. And I just kind of went,
No, I'm cool.
yeah, I'm good. But I fucking hate the dentist, bro.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
They always talk down to me.
Really?
Yeah. The one said that he was like, oh, your teeth are really smooth. And I went, oh, that's probably a good thing.
That sounds great.
That sounds great. And then
I feel smooth.
the person doing the like cleaning the teeth just fucking belittling me, bro. Just like
Why?
just talking down to me about flossing and like all the shit, right?
Yeah, they do that.
And I was like, buddy said I had smooth teeth. And she goes, that's not a thing. And then they wonder why I don't want to come back. Like,
Hey, he was hitting on you.
was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some
I figured he
smooth
just had to
teeth.
find something good to say.
That is a container for holding liquids.
Yeah. Talk to me about renewing your license.
Well, I mean, I need to do that.
I have trauma from working at the guitar store.
About what?
Remember all the parking tickets we would get?
Oh, dude.
And then all of a sudden I'd go like
That
have to
was
renew
so
my
bad.
insurance or something like that. And
What
it's
was
like,
the highest you had?
16 and a bit.
Oh, you beat me. I was like 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not something to be proud of, though.
No.
No.
we
And
were-
like the parking meter people started to feel bad after a while, y'all. And they would come knock on the door and be like, y'all want to come plug the meter?
Yeah. One of them at least.
Yeah.
I was stupid.
Yeah.
Paying, well, it was stupid.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody's going to say there was some way around that, but
There was. Like I started parking in the 10 hour and walking and it was nice. But when it's minus 50 outside,
yeah, hell no.
for some reason, those meter maids are still out there.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. We're not that big of a town. We don't need, well, I know our city likes
Well,
to
now
spend
we have
money
those
crazy.
digital ones. I don't even know if that's any better because you got to stand out there, hope the button works.
Nah, man, I use the app.
Oh, yeah, that's
The
right.
app
Yeah.
for sure.
I empathize with the white hairs because I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use
Oh,
the app.
man.
I can't use the app.
Well, it's just I ain't doing the ticket thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like I refuse to. And then if I do get a ticket, it shows up on my app and I just pay it through there.
Oh, that's handy.
'Cause it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's handy.
Same reason.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want to be going in there going like, oh God, how much do I have to pay?
Oh, bro. And like, you know what's terrifying is like all it's going to take is one of those for me to go have to get a job again. It's all it's going to take is like one crack in this, in this little foundation we've got here.
They'll give you your how much you're owing. You'll be like, are you hiring?
Yeah, yeah. How about them evenings and weekends?
I'll work with you. I'll work for you for the next 2 weeks and
Yeah.
we'll call it square.
Yeah, call it square. Okay. Yeah, that was about all I had in that. I thought that was a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to change my address on my license, and I have definitely been avoiding it.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of addresses, and you can think about this, but we're looking for someone to house sit our house for a few days. I don't know if you'd be interested in that.
If the cats wouldn't kill me, sure.
That's a good idea too. Yeah,
But-
we'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move into guilty pleasure music.
Oh, sweet.
What you got? What's on the top of your mind?
The if you're gonna say guilty pleasure music, the first thing that comes to my mind is Nickelback, "Burn It to the Ground."
Ah, really? That's a
Yeah.
great song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
That's a
and
great-
it's
My-
so good.
My dad was going through like some hard times for like at one point. I remember in like when that song came out, I was like must have been 16 or 17, and I remember him like playing it all the time.
Yeah.
He was like, "How do I play this off my phone?" I was like, "Oh, I got you." See, mine was
I just think it's one of those things that you can never say that you like it ever.
oh
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why it's like the ultimate guilty pleasure. Because there's tons of people that would be like, "Burn it in the ground," but like if you say, "Oh, I like this Nickelback song," bro.
Yeah, we used
not a
to
good look.
we used to have a friend at Average Joe's, like I think she was a waitress. She was definitely friends with one of the waitresses. I can't remember if
that
she
good of
worked
a
there or not. But she, like her hands down favorite band was Nickelback. Like she would drink warm beer and listen to Nickelback.
Keystone Lights.
Yeah, I don't want to diss her too much. I already said that she's a Nickelback fan, so.
Well, that's fair. But again, it's one of those like the tune is good.
She one
You don't
time
have to
asked the
like
bartender to
Nickelback.
microwave her can of beer because it was too cold for her.
Ah,
Yeah,
gross.
so it's
Don't
like,
microwave a can.
you can't
It'll
microwave
explode.
a can, yeah. And warm beer, come on. Anyways, I don't
it's
get
terrible.
off bugging. But yeah, okay,
That's a guilty pleasure one for
it's
me.
a fair one.
Yeah, and then like I would say, well, I mean, we've done this on Reacts, but Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
your guilty pleasures are way cooler than mine.
Well, like those are the ones that just come to mind.
Limp Bizkit's on tour right now, actually.
Oh, nice.
We should go.
Yeah, we should.
That would be a great one.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But I will not go to Nickelback. I don't need that.
No. Nickelback burned the roof of our stadium, and I don't think they're allowed back here anymore.
Nice.
And just as like employee, sound guy, roadie, like nonverbal handshake type thing, I don't work with Nickelback anymore either. So don't call if. If you're planning on calling Nickelback, you go right ahead. I'm just playing.
You can call. I don't have to answer.
Yeah. Katy Perry.
Okay.
For sure.
Which song though?
Anything pre that ET song. There's this one. It's called like "Circle the Drain." It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, gets me in my thoughts every once in a while.
Again, like a catchy bop.
Yeah,
it's one of those
that, like "I Kissed a Girl" song. That one is like
it's a jam.
Yeah, like that's one of those ones where it comes on, and then halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna commit to it and turn it up. And then it's like now I've missed half the song, so I gotta start it over. And
then I gotta wondering if this is in context, so I gotta listen to the rest of the record.
I gotta listen to the rest of the
record. And then all of a
record.
sudden I gotta go like, okay, where did she go in her life after this?
Did I miss anything? Yeah.
No, I mean she writes bops.
I think shout out to Katy Perry, man. I think she just had a kid.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, I watched a performance of hers, and I'm like 99% sure she was pregnant. And if she
I think
wasn't,
she just had a kid.
I'm pretty sure she's had a kid. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean like
what makes it a guilty pleasure for you? Is it something that you just don't like admitting you like?
Yeah.
Is that what makes it a guilty pleasure?
Yeah, pretty well.
Okay.
It's one of those like it's the same thing that I like Fast and the Furious movies. Like that's now to be fair, Christopher Nolan, one of the best directors of all time, that's his guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Is Fast and Furious movies.
Interesting.
He watches every single one of them.
So is there a part of it, and this isn't a dig, I'm just asking Kevin questions here. Is there a part of it where it's like it's safe to turn your brain off, but it's still kind of rock and roll?
For me, it's the same reason I like the burn it to the ground thing. I like if you're gonna make something stupid, make it as stupid as you can make it.
Because like burn it to the ground is just like perfect drinking music. It doesn't matter how far away you are from the boombox. You can hear that. Dum, dum, dum.
It's got a little excited.
Got a little bro in you.
But like, yeah, but it's like an energy thing of like it's ludicrous. But like I don't know. It's one of those like, well, we're doing it anyway, so why don't we go to 11?
Extra mile, yeah.
Why don't we turn up to 11?
Yeah.
Like it's the Spinal Tap thing of like, well, why wouldn't you just make 10 louder? Well, it goes to 11.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that my head thinks.
Just
about it.
make it 11.
Yeah. Like I just think those types of movies and those types of songs for me, I just laugh because they're like it's funny.
Interesting.
It's as big as you can make it. It's ludicrous. Like I don't know.
That's
I think
so
those
funny.
things are so fun, and like that's honestly why I like when I try to do anything on my like whether I'm writing or creating, I'm always trying to think of like what's the funniest thing I can do here, and by funny I mean coolest. But in my head, it's the funniest.
Well, yeah, that's that. You heard the Freeze the Fall song, "Daughters of Witches." The snare drum's hilarious.
Yeah,
I was in the live premiere. I was like, Jordan thinks he's a comedian.
But that's what
I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's like because like that's I remember back when we were making like Feo records, and we were showing Corey Hartley that stuff.
The bass player.
He's a guitar player.
Yeah.
And every time I would show him stuff, he would just laugh. And he'd be like, "That's so cool," and just laugh because like that's the vibe that I was going for too.
Yeah.
It's just like this is hilarious for some reason. Okay. Good work.
Yeah, there's something
He's
about
safe.
that, like it's like that head nod from the bro. It's
Yeah.
just this time it's from a Chad, not not like a Grammys award winning whatever we talked about last time.
Well, I mean, I think he's probably won a Grammy or two.
Probably.
Yeah, no, those are my guilty pleasures. It's one of those ones where like I know it's not like okay to say this, and I know it's not like good. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like high art. Burn it to the ground isn't high art by any stretch. But I think it's hilarious.
It's the hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah. It's like, hey, this explosion's pretty big, but let's make the explosion bigger.
Bigger, yeah. We have a little bit of room to make it bigger, and why don't we?
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's when I think guilty pleasure. That's where my head goes.
See, mine, like I literally feel guilty when I listen to music that I know is 100% electronic.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Like I straight up feel guilty.
Yeah.
And like it can have a real vocalist, that's fine. Like I got into that Calvin Harris for a little bit. He's like a DJ producer, I think. But like I really like his snare drums. They sound like a punchy water drop. And I don't know how else to describe it. But I literally felt guilt listening to it. But I just like I would go through phases, especially like in Vegas in the summertime and stuff. He'll figure out where he wants to be.
It's very intense tonight.
No, it's okay. I also have songs like early Sum 41 songs that I go back to make me feel like I'm like 12 years old again.
I don't think that's a guilty pleasure, though, is it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It feels like a guilty pleasure.
I don't think they're like...
Because it gives me that same, like... it's like reminiscent of me being a dumb 13-year-old running around in the alleys of town and like... You just see a cop car, so you run.
Oh, so like you feel like it makes you seem juvenile.
Yeah. And that to me... Oh, wow. I almost looked at way too philosophically. I try so hard to separate myself from like the child that I feel I am sometimes and back. I try really hard to take myself seriously because like one of the things that I'm self-conscious of is people like I feel like people like talk down to me or try to talk down to me or try to like discount like who I am, what I do and stuff like that. And so when I put myself in a place where I am feeling juvenile, it feels so counterproductive or counterintuitive to like what I'm up to. And that's totally an internal thing. I don't feel like I need to convince you all that I'm an adult or whatever, but like it's just like it's the pains of growing up, right? So when I feel like I'm doing something that's like counterproductive to that, it's like, ooh, like what am I doing here?
I'm breaking the rules.
Yeah.
I'm breaking my own rules.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It's like I had a hard time like with the idea of being silly. Like
yeah, it's like right along the same lines.
Same kind of thing of just like goofy, silly. Like I'm actually quite a goofy person, but I'm also like I seem unbelievably serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I talk about a lot of really heavy shit.
But you don't want the goofy all the time. That's why, right?
No.
Because like I don't want people talking to me like I'm a child, but I like being like playing it like I talk about being old all the time, but like I like doing young people things. I don't know how to say this. Like I like kicking a soccer ball around like with my friends. Yeah. Just like being young spirited. That's what I'm looking for. A young soul. Yeah, youthful. Yeah. But like I also have to like remind myself that I'm an adult a lot of the time, and I like to like feel confident in that from time to time. So that I think that's where the guilty pleasure comes from. It's a long-winded way of saying that.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I think like I don't know. I think for anybody, a guilty pleasure is just something that they feel is like not okay out in the world's view. Yeah, something that they're trying to protect away from. Something that that only is for them. Yeah, like I mean that Bill Murray band for me is kind of that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's super juvenile in my opinion. Yeah. Like it's youthful,
but it's like it's so dope at the same time. Yeah, because like even like I'm not in heaven yet, but it's a better hell than you. Yeah, like, that is tough, man. Oh yeah, like that is nasty.
Yeah. Dude's got bars. Yeah, but like I know that like when I show it to most people, they're gonna be like, "What's this?"
Well, I showed the video to a few people, and they're like, is he trolling or is he serious?" I'm like, "Bro, he's trolling. Like, come on." Yeah, it's hilarious. It is
hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely hilarious.
All right, man. Let's talk about a little bit of music here.
Okay.
So we're gonna discuss a little bit of music, and then we'll move into my actual music thing here because I actually like plan like a little music show for us again. Yep. For Patreon and Spotify. Spotify, what's up? You all been growing, man. 808 impressions, which I thought was pretty good. Yep. Okay, so first off, I want to say rest in peace to Taylor Hawkins. Today is the 2-year anniversary since he passed away.
It's been 2 years?
2 years already. Isn't that wild? Whoa. I feel like I've been stuck in a vortex for literally 2 years. Apparently. And I wonder if it's because we no longer have Taylor Hawkins.
Might be.
Yeah. I'm not even like trying to be funny, like in a sense.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And like I woke up this morning, that was the first thing I saw on my timeline. And I didn't like I was wide awake at 3 this morning. Didn't like I just stayed up, ended up just drinking coffee and reading the Rolling Stone or something, NPR a little bit. And yeah, it was like the first thing that popped up. I was like, oh my God. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
That's wild. Yeah. I just remember 2 years ago, 2 years ago, March, that's when I was moved to tattooing full time.
Oh, wow. Crazy. Yeah. Huh. But yeah. It was,
that's gone.
That's a whole other thing. That one can stay gone.
No.
That one. That's all I'm saying.
That one.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, rest in peace to Taylor, man. Big time missed around here. Oh, dude. Rock and roll just doesn't have the same smile it used to have. Yeah, man. Yeah. And like, shout out to the Foo Fighters, man. I know they're doing amazing things. I know Taylor's kid gotten up on stage with them. I'm so behind on a lot of these videos, but I did want to give like a proper little shout out to that. And you know, like my heart goes out to the whole Hawkins family. Oh, 2 years later, still, man. Like there's no amount of time. You want to check on him, or you think he's good?
I think they're playing with the ball.
Oh, okay, that's good. Have you heard the Slash and Brian Johnson song?
Which Brian Johnson are we talking about?
AC/DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay, so The Killing Floor is like an old blues cover.
Yep.
You've heard the song, I'm assuming. So Brian Johnson, someone correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. He was a lounge blues singer.
Yes.
And he sang very quite low in his low register.
Yep.
And when he moved to, or when he got auditioned or picked up by AC/DC, his friends and his family were like, bro, you're singing way too high. And he was like, I don't know, man, it's cool, right? And then here we are with AC/DC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rest in peace to Bon Scott. But so it's Slash, Steven Tyler, and Brian Johnson.
That's crazy.
Oh shit, is Wolfgang Van Halen in that one too?
Oh, that would be cool.
He might have been in a different video I watched. But here, I'm just gonna play a second of it for you because they recorded at Gibson Studios.
Oh yeah.
Which is live off the floor basically to tape. Brian Johnson's in the control room with the 7B in his hand, grabbing it right here.
Gangster.
Oh yeah, man, it's so good. Let me see if I can find this for him. Slash got another multi-artist record coming out.
Oh really?
Where it's gonna be him and a bunch of other artists writing songs and stuff. Yeah,
I love that.
isn't that good?
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah, man, to tape too.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's a tape. I know the studio has the capabilities to go to tape, but yeah.
It could be both.
Yeah. But what's amazing, man, is the last. Oh, you know how I feel about Miles Kennedy, man. He is my spirit animal.
Yep.
And I did not like how they did him and the record that Alter Bridge did there, or not Alter Bridge, Slash and Miles Kennedy.
Yeah,
I thought
I
they mixed
agree.
his voice real low, and it was just. But this sounds fabulous, man.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simpler though.
Yeah.
There's less going on in that.
Yeah.
It's 2 guitars, bass, drums.
Well, there's a percussion player. I think there's a keyboard player, and then Steven Tyler's gonna come in with his harmonica too.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing. You have to really give that one a listen.
That's sweet.
Yep. Here, I'll play another few seconds of it. Could be my favorite
Ooh, that's
Slash
good.
lead, man.
That's really
You got to
good.
give the whole thing a listen.
I will.
Give it a watch.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and Steven Tyler doing that, the harmonica and then the screaming, wow.
Man, that's the business.
Just
right
into the
there.
harmonica mic too. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing that on his records forever, and I can never figure it out.
Yep. I mean, his voice does kind of sound like a harmonica from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Boy's bluesy.
All right, man. Let's listen to this Bill Murray song.
Oh, I'm excited.
All right, y'all.
First of all, look at the cover.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
YouTube, I really hope that this gets to go on YouTube. I know the Killing Floor will have not of, but I hope this one will, man. And y'all go check out Bill Murray. I'll have him tagged in the description box. Fabulous music. The entertainment quality is
Great actor.
Great actor. Dude is kind of yoked.
I know.
He looks like a rugby player. I want him on my team, bro.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
He's got some glutes.
Yep. The drummer from 5 Seconds of Summer, I want him on my team too. He's a big
Yeah,
boy.
fair.
Yep. It's called Blindsided.
Yep.
All right.
See the album cover?
His dog biting his finger.
So great.
I'll have it up. I'll have it
It's
up.
so random.
Yeah, that's so funny. All right, here we go.
Get ready for some pop.
This dude is genius.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
What?
Cowbell?
This is Ed
Dude.
Sheeran meets
Right?
yeah, not Hailstorm, someone a little bit more heavy than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns aggro,
Cool.
but that's super well established.
Oh yeah.
Like-
and it flows so well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, it gets better.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is wild.
Oh, yeah. Like the textures and all that.
And like how good his vocal sounds way better on this one. But I think it's the performance is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super clean.
I can't tell if the mix is better, but like he's got that like the voices in my head, like all that breakup stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Do they actually have a drummer? Are they programming that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because it's hilarious how like well they place all the ghost notes.
Yeah.
Like in Better Hell, it was the same thing.
I'm guessing if they're not drumming it, it's probably like electric
Tapped out,
kits
maybe.
that like are catching right ghost notes and stuff like that. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
But like, you should probably hit play because there's funnier things that are about to happen.
Oh, it's gonna get funnier.
Oh, dude. Just wait.
Hi-hats sound nice. Saxophone?
Saxophone! Ah! On a halftime beat. Like, and then an eagle at the end. There's an eagle at the end.
Oh my god!
Like pure freedom.
Yeah.
A
Okay, hold on.
twangy, like slappy guitar solo into a sax solo into
Country
an
season,
eagle.
y'all.
Oh my god!
Beyonce said it's not a country album, it's a Beyonce album. Bill Murray says this is a Bill Murray record.
You ain't wrong, man.
Give me that guitar solo.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean by funny. Like that's as big as you can make it.
Like, and what's wild is the eagle is goddamn hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
I would never ever. I was telling Danielle, I just don't have that kind of charisma.
We should put an eagle in there.
Be like, bro, it just needed something to wrap it up with. And I know we usually do like a building falling. I was thinking an eagle this time.
Yeah, what if we just had an eagle soaring?
Yeah. But like I was even thinking about it. I was like, man, like, you know, the first video he did was so genius, mowing the yard.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna go out and I was gonna like quote unquote diss him in case he sees this. And I was gonna, because I have the same mower as him, I was gonna toss that mower and then go on my ride on and like have like a little response. Yeah. And but I just am not that kind of charismatic. And he is such a dope actor, like with his seriousness and like pointing at the camera and like, oh, it's unbelievable.
He's into it 100%.
But like he's in that pocket. Like he's in that content is everything pocket.
Yeah.
Like and it's great.
And it's fun.
Oh man, it's so fun.
The dude is fun and funny, and you can tell because that's where his brain is going.
But then okay, talk to me about this. So you were that kind of a guitar player. The do do do.
Yep.
Ba ba ba. But you also left that to go play in country bands.
Yeah.
What if the country band sounded like Feo did?
Oh, I've given this great thought because like one of the things that I've been thinking about is like country is going through all these different stages, and like bro country became like almost like metal country, which is actually
became
happening
like
right
80s,
now.
and then
there's
now
like
it's
hip hop country that's involved in that too now.
Yeah.
But we haven't had like an alternative
Yeah.
era country
of like
anymore.
punk kind of country.
Yeah, like if you were to do like Paramore riffs, but with like down home country lyrics and like southern drawl.
Yeah.
I actually think that would slap.
I'm so into that, bro. I'm so into that.
I've been thinking about like we should maybe like write some tunes that are like that and then get Brad Saunders to sing on it.
Oh yeah.
Because I think he'd slay it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is hilarious. God, that is so funny.
Yeah.
Because like all I can think is, man, like one of, actually, I'll tell you all this story. My first like hired sound job as just a sound technician. One of the bigger audio companies in town. I'm not going to say their names. They just overstretched themselves. They had a system set up. They had everything set up. They just needed a technician to go and mix it. And I was only 17.
Yep.
And went and mixed it. And their guitar player, bro, was probably the best guitar player I ever worked with in my life. Dude got injured at work and just like became a shut-in kind of. Like, and I mean that respectfully. He just like kind of lost faith in the world.
Yep.
Bought a guitar and just played it for like 6 years straight.
Wow.
Came out of a hole in a band and just like, and the band knew, like by set 3, it was just like, we're singing these verses really quick so we can get to the guitar player. Because it was like, dude is putting on a show, man. Devil went down to Georgia,
Nice.
like through and through with this like 335, like this big guitar. And like doesn't look at the crowd or anything, just standing up there, just shredding.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, if he had all those big riffs, those big, nasty, disgusting bro riffs,
Yeah, dude.
that's so funny.
It's like a good, healthy foundation, in my opinion, for some greatness.
Whole new type of scrunch face. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stank going on in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm so for that.
Yep.
Yep, I like that. You know what's interesting though is I'm like you. I try to see these trends of like, okay, let's pick on country for a minute. Country is like what we imagine country is. Johnny Cash, we'll say. And you fast forward, and all of a sudden now it sounds like 80s rock, and then it sounds like hair metal, and then it sounds like regular metal, and then rap catches in, right? And that's where I was gonna go with it. Rockabilly is starting to make an appearance again.
Yeah.
So the Trains. Lots of gospel influence. What I equate a lot of rockabilly to, and I don't want to get into a history lesson because, again, I don't know too much about it, but it was a lot of like living in like way, way, way below poverty, like on the like someone else's vegetables you could steal kind of thing. And you find like an old abandoned like hunting cabin and it's got a guitar in it, and that's what you're jamming on, or that's the guitar that you stole and took with you.
Rockabilly, or are you talking bluegrass?
I'm talking like around the same kind of area, like when you had outlaw quote unquote type people doing music, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine it, or I liken it to like when you have like gangsters doing poetry. It's like, it doesn't seem like it, but it kind of fits.
Yep.
And then so you have these like outlaws and these like vagabonds and stuff that are like basically had collected instruments that you could just carry on your back, banjos, 6-string guitars that only had 4 strings on them, and a lot of music kind of derived from that. And when you listen to a lot of the drum kits, it's just snares and rides. And I'm starting to see in a lot of country going back to that, and we're going back to actually in a lot of music getting away from just your classic drummer and getting lots of percussion involved. And it's just kind of interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I like watching the evolution of music. I think we're kind of close to where all things are happening at all times.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
It's like you just get smaller pockets of it.
I think that like that whole thing of bands being like genreless, I kind of like that, because like I was trying to make this point a little while ago, but like Feo didn't write songs like anyone else.
Well, we tried not to.
Yeah.
Tried just to be us.
Well, and it's like I can't find another song that has the same structure as Drag You Down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same as like Freeze the Fall. Like,
I mean, to be fair though, it's really like intro verse chorus, bridge chorus. Like,
yeah, I know, but like it's different
You
though.
can find
It's
lots
different
of
though.
those.
It's different though. It's like sneaky.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was all about being sneaky.
See,
like I
and-
did that with all my chord structures too.
And like in
All my chords were sneaky.
And like in Freeze the Fall, it's the same thing. You can call it like prog metal, you could call it prog rock, but it's just like I and maybe this is more of a me thing, but like I haven't heard many bands that just write music like that. Like I can't find songs that give me what those songs give me.
Yeah, fair.
And a lot of it is because it's like so unique, and I think that's becoming a thing.
Well, I mean, I like that idea, and I also think like it's because there's going to be less people saying you need to do X, Y, and Z in order to make it.
Yeah, like just create.
Well,
right?
so
Yeah,
I think
I'm gonna
part
play
of
this for a
the
second. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not a ton of music. If I played it more, it showed more of the example. But like, there's just not a ton that gives me that. It's like a blend of like a little bit of Clutch meets a little bit of like Hailstorm meets a little bit of something a little bit tighter. Like, I don't know. Like,
to me, that That to me is kind of like what I always wished Evanescence was going to be.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, like let me go into like the breakdown here a little bit. This is chorus. And then the breakdown. See, now it's like Limp Bizkit-y a little bit. With halftime drums. Now it gives me like Megadeth. Whoa. Like, it's just, there's so many things all piled into one. And I think that's like, it's kind of freeing in its own way. And like Bill Murray, like same thing. Like we just had like a dance electro song go into like a hard rock song, into a country song. Like, you know what I mean? It's just.
Well, like, I mean, maybe this just comes down to like each thing speaks. You know what I mean? Like it has a purpose.
Yeah.
Or it needs to be out
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. Like, that's where I think, like, I don't know. I think sometimes when it's like you have a version of a thing that you know well, and it's like, okay, it fits within this box. And that's what I mean by like the extra voices telling you that the box needs to be maintained. It's like, I get it because, you know, that mentality was based on the idea of like, oh, they did this and it was successful, so you should do this because if you do the same, we know that this way was successful. So if you do it, it's probably successful too. It's like, you know, playing odds or playing percentages on a casino or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
fair.
He just, you know, did a roulette for red, so you should probably do red because that guy's obviously winning, so you should probably win.
Yeah.
And that makes it so that the box gets like reinforced by more and more voices that are always looking at like success and the monetary thing. It's like, oh yeah, like the Mona Lisa is huge, so you should just paint the Mona Lisa over and over again. Because like that's obviously what sells. It's just like pictures of a lady sitting.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's technically what the commerce side of this would be, and that's exactly what it would have been if, you know, the Mona Lisa was painted in an era where there were other record labels with other artists that are trying to also get the success off of a Mona Lisa because now it's worth so much.
Interesting. Like, oh, y'all are doing a hook and a chorus? Okay, we're going to start doing a hook and a chorus. Yep. Interesting. Because, like, you could go, and if I wrote out the structure of the song, I'm sure there's other songs like it. But again, it just, like, it tricks me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives you something you're not expecting, too.
Yeah.
I think that might also just be the part of it. Like, if it's not perfectly within the box, it's not going to give you, it's going to give you surprise, which part of art, emotion, things like that. That's how I feel listening to Ren.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't expect half of what he's giving me.
Yeah.
But it's also presented in a way that is digestible.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, it's giving you things that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you look at it on paper, like the elements that are like presented and sometimes even the way that they're presented, it's like, this shouldn't go over well.
Yeah.
But it does.
And it does. And sometimes it's just like, but there's like a beauty in that. And I think that like, the more and more artists can lean into that and showcase that, the more and more people have the opportunity to fall in love with, like, it's almost like fall in love with the weird parts of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
The quirks, the unique pieces.
Yeah. Speaking of Ren, actually, shout out to Ren. He's in Calgary trying to film some music videos, and I don't know if y'all can see us.
Is he right there?
No, there's
He's outside.
It's like 18 inches of snow outside. So he's posting his Instagram story like, what the fuck is this? Just like trenching through, trying to find somewhere to film a video.
Yeah, this would be harsh weather for him, I think.
Yeah, to come over here from
England.
Wales, England,
England, land of the rain.
Sorry, I messed up all my stuff, but I'm gonna save the other music portion for the next week because we basically just had a music portion and that was a ton of fun.
That's fair.
But here I want to end this off with this. We've kind of tiptoed around this as like a topic, so now I want to like give straight up advice. So, considering your history, your equipment you've owned, all the shit you've spent money on, shit you've wasted money on, shit maybe that you should have kept, maybe stuff you should have sold earlier, whatever. How would you go about rebuilding a home studio for yourself today? And talk to me. Like, I want to hear like priorities. I don't need to hear models, but like priorities, thoughts.
Okay, so I would say
consider that, like, you know, if we do a music project, like, you know, we're gonna have to track some stuff. I have a few things, but you probably want your own shit too. So, like, you know, like, lay it on me.
I'd want like a decent 2-channel interface that can extend out to an opto of 8. So I'd want something that was at least 2 analog in, there were 2 preamps that were good, with a converter that is good, and then the ability to light pipe out to an extra 8, because 10 channels is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Clean, preferable, because there's so much that you can do after the fact now.
What do you mean by clean?
Audio signal path quality wise, like the amount that it's catching is a lot, right? So like if you think about it, like dirty is adding or taking away clarity for the most part, and sometimes that's exactly what you want. Sometimes you want dirty,
like too much information sometimes.
Yeah, so it's like it's basically taking whatever is coming in and it's making it so that it's altered than what the source material would be. And so I would want to be able to, if I was just stuck with something small, I would want to make sure that I have as much information going in and out as I could, because that will let me do more with it after. So I would probably say something pretty clean, converter-wise, would be important, because that allows me to do more on my end of life too, like mixing and potentially mastering down the road. Like if I've got something that does clean 192 and like good sample rate and it's just a strong interface, that helps. It makes immediately what you can present to the world after the fact more professional. It's like, kind of like resolution on a camera.
It's inspiring, right?
Well, and it won't get, like, if you cheap out on an interface and you do the most amazing thing, it's like, oh, I have the absolute best cocktail in the world, but here it is in a styrofoam cup.
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
It's like, it just is one of those, like, whatever it was supposed to be, now all of a sudden it can't be, because the thing that you're delivering it in has been sacrificed.
Yeah.
Whereas, like,
you're basically talking about like downscaling to like a little tiny garden pipe when you've got the whole irrigation line.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to use that to then open up to a bigger well at the other end. You kind of want it to be, it captures everything, even the ugly stuff, and doesn't sound like the product. You don't really, unless you spend all the money on like a really nice like Neve preamp where you like the sound of it.
And that, if I had more options.
That's not the discussion though, right?
Exactly. Like I want to go less. And personally, I would probably say find a set of headphones that you like. I would get headphones that you like and can trust and know what the things that you like sound like in them, over getting crazy speakers, because like you're going to be in inconsistent rooms always.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can have something that brings it here. I hate mixing on headphones. I absolutely loathe it, but
sometimes it makes sense though.
The room can confuse a lot.
Yep.
And
would you do open or closed or semis for your headphones?
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Depends on the headphone too. Sometimes closed sound great.
I was going to say I'd have a pair of both, but
like ATH M50s.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like my go-to all-arounder. They're not cheap. They're, 200 and something bucks, but like that's a solid set of headphones, and they are closed technically. But I also have my MoFis, which are great, and they're open. I have Focals, which suck. They were expensive, but I don't like them at all.
Okay.
But yeah, and then speakers for just kind of like editing and stuff that you don't necessarily want information right up in your face and stuff like that, and just small speaker that lets you check balance and kind of that.
Give your ears a break a little bit.
Well, and something that you're not going to listen to loud.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't listen to these loud either.
Conversation volume, y'all.
Loud is like vibe check.
Yeah.
In the car or whatever, like when you not want to know if it's knocking, but if you're trying to be discerning, no, you can't have it loud.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna get tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those would be my main things, and then some, like, there's so many things out there that are like subscription based plugins that I would grab whatever I liked.
Whatever bundle.
Yeah. For
Because
me,
like,
I
they're
like.
so competitive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I like using real gear. So the ones that are the closest to the real gear is what I would always gravitate towards. I'll grab UA every single time.
Yeah.
Because it is like the thing.
Yeah.
And I know that if I turn knobs on these units and I turn knobs on theirs, it's going to sound the same.
Yeah.
Or darn close to it rather than the amplified version.
Well, and you know, and at the end of the day, in a mix, man, like soloed out, you may be able to tell the difference on a vocal, but in a mix, like.
Well, and like it's just a tool.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Like
exactly it.
someone might have an LA2A that sounds better than the one that's in the DUA plugin one. Sure.
Yeah.
That's cool for them. They've
Yeah.
got it. I don't.
I don't.
This
yeah.
one sounds good.
Well, and you know, a little bit of what you're describing here is like it's kind of like a really nice closet studio. It's like a really intentional closet studio, and I don't really necessarily have all the room for all the rack space. You know what I mean? I've got a 3U lined up sideways over here because I just can't fit it somewhere else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're really trying to consider space while keeping quality high. Is
Well, like, and not to mention, it just enables me to do more. Like, I could do 100 tracks
Yeah.
with 100 or 5 to 10 plugins per track if I wanted to, which I could never be in a situation where I could afford to do that analog.
Yeah, there's no way.
Just and most human beings can't.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm going to be in the box and it's going to be what it is,
Yeah.
I want to be able to be as creative as I want
Would
to.
you go crazy on a computer?
I do a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Just Mac Mini or a laptop. The software, like what audio has to do nowadays compared to the power of processors, is nowhere close to each other. Computers are way better than they used to be.
Oh yeah.
So unless you're doing video, like high quality 8K or 4K video rendering, most basic Macs will do it.
Yeah.
So
We mix the shit out of stuff on my computer.
yeah, and like, did we hit a limit?
No.
Never.
No.
So it's like, okay, it used to be that way though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember like we used to have to like turn off plugins or like print plugins
And then put the wave in.
and then have it on a separate track so we wouldn't have the
There's a
plugin
beauty
running.
to that, but anyway, yeah.
Well, because you're basically committing to it, which I like the idea of.
It's closer to the analog thing in my opinion, but yeah.
No, I completely agree. When the limitation is there, you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't worry about getting some crazy computer. Crazy computers nowadays, they're so ludicrous as to how much. I'm gonna keep saying it.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
They're overkill.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's
but-
cool, man. Like, if you can afford the computer, get the computer. I would love to have a sweet, fancy computer. I'd love to be able to stream all my Cubase sessions and stuff. But the minute I light the video up, it falls apart. So I'm trying to sort that out. But
I mean, for me, I would just be $800 Mac Mini, a $200 screen.
yeah,
I'd try and get an interface for like $600-700, but I know that like the one that I would want would probably be about $1,200.
yep. Could you, in your opinion, and this is just Kevin's opinion, could you save money on the interface but get a nicer preamp?
I just know that like what you get from like, yes, but the money you're going to spend is more.
Yeah, because you're going to spend $1,000 on the preamp.
Whereas like say I do a $600 like claret or whatever those are from Scarlett.
Yeah.
Because those like it's a really high quality converter. It's a clean preamp. Cool. That's like $600 for a 2-channel that does opto out.
Mm-hmm.
Or I go into a UA Twin. And the UA Twin's $1,200.
Duo now, but
Sure, that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I'm old.
I got you.
But like then I can get their software pre-Neve
yep.
and get that Neve preamp. Whereas if I was going to get the claret and then get a warm audio one or whatever they are,
Yeah.
I mean that's way more money.
Yeah, that's
Right?
fair. Okay.
So if I'm trying to think bang for buck, I'm just going to say like, no, I'll get I'll get as clean of a front end as I can. And then everything else I'll do digitally because I can pay a monthly subscription. And when I'm not mixing heavy that month, I just cancel it
Yeah.
or whatever I want.
Or you just buy one or two, hopefully, if they're still,
Yeah.
if you still can do that.
Yeah, fair. Who knows? But like those, I would try and be as budget conscious as possible and get the highest quality input and output that I could afford.
Okay. I got you. I think that makes
and then
sense.
I think like you're not worried about the room in the same way.
Yeah.
You know, grab an SM7B because anybody who's not grabbing an SM7B as their first vocal mic, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, especially as your first mic, y'all, because this room is not great for vocals.
No.
But you can't tell because the mic doesn't really respond to that. And I'm sure it does. All my audio purists out there, I get it. But like
Yeah,
for what
it
we're
does,
up to,
but also no, it doesn't.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when we're talking about proximity effect, like you have to be
you have to be on this thing.
when you're on it, you don't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
When you're out here, yeah, you got to worry about all that.
Yeah.
But
who's doing that on a 7B?
right? Like, I'm not going to go grab a U87 and throw it in this room.
Well, no,
Like,
God,
hell
no.
no.
Fuck no. And the other nice thing about this mic though is, I don't know if it's picking up Watson right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know
I know
what I mean?
mine
Like-
is.
Those ones are hot though. But like there is something magical about like this mic or dynamic mics in general that just like seem to be a little bit easier to control. I found in my, cause I've had everything in here. I had a U87, a clone. I used that mic. I had a shotgun mic. I had a different shotgun mic. I had a lapel mic. I have this mic. I've tried them all in here. This mic does the best.
Well, and in my opinion, a dynamic mic sounds percussive.
Yep.
And it really is hard to get a condenser mic to sound percussive. You can, but you got to mess with it.
I found the condenser mic. This is something that I really heard. It was like your creation process should be inspiring. So if you have something that like sounds bad and you're just like trying to tough through it, it's like just fix it, make it sound good, right? So for me, it was like to get to a point where I felt inspired by the hyperdynamic or like the TLM 103 or whatever I was singing into. Like it just took me right out of it. And it was almost like a hypersensitivity thing because I could hear everything.
Yeah.
And it was like at first it's really cool, but then you start singing and it's like, man, I can't get away from it.
Yep.
Straight up can't get away from it.
Yeah, and that's like, I've only heard a couple of microphones that are that way that I actually like. And but it's not for the type of music that we do usually.
Yeah.
Like anything aggressive, they just don't have the same thing.
Yeah.
And it makes it so it's like too smooth. Like the entries and exits of transients are just, they're like too clean.
They like roll instead of bite.
Yeah. And it's one of those like a 251, like a Telefunken 251. Awesome.
Yeah.
C800.
Yeah.
Even more percussive sounding than that one. And yet it's also insanely smooth.
Yeah. But these are expensive microphones.
Oh, it's a $10,000 mic.
I want to go and do a little acoustic performance in that church we've been renting,
Yeah.
and I want to sing. And all I want is a 251.
Nice.
I just want the 251 right here.
Yeah.
And we'll just play and sing, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's phenomenal sounding.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Not home studio smart though.
No, it would sound awful.
Yeah. Well, and like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have a 2i2 with a Telefunken into it, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you're limiting yourself.
Well, and, you know, it's kind of like things in the chain, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like there's just too many things that people think are the answers to stuff, and I did the exact same thing. I thought so many things were the solution, the answer, the blah, 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 blah. And, like, I would rather have whatever I've got and have to work to get the thing out of it that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I've got options, great. That's awesome. But if I don't have options, I still want to get the thing.
Yeah.
So, like, let's
Still
get
want
to
to be
the thing.
goofy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
You ain't wrong.
But you know, like there's kind of a magic in like if you have to print the thing, or like if you do it with like our friend Jordan was talking about his hybrid studio. It's like in the box, but he's also got some analog equipment. It's like once you did the thing, man, like it's done.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go back and change it, and so now you have to work with that. And for a long time, that sounded scary until we got that mix timer trick. And now it's like just make it as big as you fucking can. It's basically just put it on the track and let's go, right?
Yeah,
Like
let's just make it roll.
yeah. But
No, and that's part of like I know that everybody's got a different school of thought, and like the idea of having like a safe track. Okay, I get it, but I think sometimes that's not the answer.
Yep.
I think sometimes it's rung what you brung,
Yep.
and you go get the thing and make it there and now and do it.
yeah. I like that.
just
You
live
brung
with
what you brung.
Yeah, I mean, like really,
Yeah.
you show up, do the thing.
You do the thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And then that way we don't end up like T-Pain getting fired because we didn't do the thing.
well, like that's, I don't know. That's that kind of came onto my that was that same idea where I like had my Soldano with a tuner. That was my rung what you brung idea, where it's just like,
This is gonna
Can you
sound
do
away.
it?
Let's go.
can you do it? Set the amp this way only. Use your volume. That's it. Good luck.
But that was the Eric Wagner thing. He was like, just give me the amp and I'll make it sound good. He's
Yeah,
like, you just have to
that's
use
fair.
your ears, right?
Yeah, you gotta
like
use your
he's like,
ears and
stop
play.
worrying about like whatever practice amp. He's like, just get some good tone out of it. If it's like buzzy, turn the top end off. He's like, if you have to turn it off, then just turn it off. Like
Yeah.
just do the thing.
Yeah, just get what you want out of it if you can.
Yeah. But yeah, and like enable yourself for that. It's like, photographers getting a full frame camera. If you get a cropped camera or cropped lens, then you're stuck to that crop. And if you get full frame, then you get to choose after the fact, right? You're taking in more information, and then you get to deal with it after.
And if you're a really dope photographer, I'm sure you're choosing the crop lens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure that's it. But if I'm starting out,
oh no, I would say it's the other way. If you're just starting out, you probably do the crop because you know what the 16:9 is going to look like. And it's kind of like the cheater version.
Yeah,
whereas if you go to the full frame and it's like, I imagine it's
yeah.
like rectangle and I can chop sections out of it.
Yeah.
But it's not really. But anyways, yeah. So it's like it takes in way more information at like a way higher scale, and then you can basically you can put it to
do
whatever
what you need
size.
to afterwards. Yeah.
But it's the clean. It's the big line of irrigation feeding your whole well, right?
Yep.
Like the 7Bs, like it pleases me. Because like I can see it's a big diaphragm. I feel like it's capturing a lot of sound.
Even though it's just a 57.
It's just a little, it's just a 57. But like that to me adds to the inspiration of the performance though, right?
Yeah.
And you alleviate things like the shitty room sound, the fan sound, someone doing something in the other room. So I think that like something like this is a great call.
And it's like, I don't know, try testing and true, man.
Man, Metallica used them. Like, let's go. What other proof do you need? If it can handle his, yes.
Yeah.
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 Anything else tonight, man?
I don't know.
That was a fun one.
That was a good one.
I felt like that was a bro chat tonight.
It was.
Yep.
Man, that Bill Murray tune is hilarious.
Oh,
eh?
bro, hilarious.
Yeah.
Go check out Bill Murray, y'all. I'm gonna hit him up.
You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
We can have an awkward chat with him.
Oh man, speaking of hitting up, this is my last little bit of shit talking this week.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple other content creators from town here do pretty good for themselves. We all have our own like little worlds. One's on Instagram, one's I think on TikTok and Instagram. Like they're everywhere, but like they kind of have their pockets.
Yeah.
And I'm the YouTube guy, right? And I see these motherfuckers, the bakery in town.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. Doing their
Yeah.
little fucking back and forth and shit. And I just went, where's my invite?
Well, you probably go ask him.
No.
No?
I'm not a
proud?
high first.
Too proud?
No, that's not it. I got other stuff going on.
That's
I'm
reasonable.
busy. Not now, I'm busy. Shout out to Johnny Lucas. 8.5 million views as of today on YouTube.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's go that.
All right.
Professionalism.
all right, everybody. On that handshake.
Fantastic.
Have a good night, y'all. That was fun.
8.5 million is dope.
That's a weird feeling.
That's really cool.
Yeah.